All right, so you've completed your yearbook pages and you're thinking to yourself, great job, looks good, I'm done, I'm just going to upload it. Well, we're not uploading these, but if you were to upload it without just on that alone, chances are you're going to find some mistakes. I mean, I think I did a great job on this in terms of my accuracy and so forth and so on, but there are a couple things that I want to show you that you should do prior to considering your page done. Now, one of the things is to ask somebody else to look at it. If it's not a parent or somebody, you can use the Yearbook Avenue instant messaging software and message somebody and say, hey, can you take a look at my page and see if you can find any mistakes, and take their advice to heart because they're not meaning to criticize you. They're just trying to show you that they had a problem understanding it, or they think that it should be written a different way, or you may just legitimately made a mistake. So, with that said, one of the things that you should do is go over here to Edit and choose Spell Check. Very important. Now, you should have complete sentences for the most part. So, if you don't, this spell check's not going to check if you have complete sentences. So, if you're looking at somebody else's page and they don't have complete sentences, do let them know. But here's, let's just go through this. Now, notice that one of the things that I did is I call myself Mr. J just to save time and make it easier for people. So I've got a lot of Mr. J in here, so I'm just going to say to the spell check, ignore all. All right. Now, I misspelled Diego from San Diego, so I'm going to click here and say change it. Nephew, I made a mistake. I misspelled it. Now, the reason I misspell these things is not because I don't know how to spell. I'm pretty good with spelling, but from a distance, because I was typing this in the view that you see right here, you're going to make these mistakes. You're going to miss these little things. And even if it wasn't, people make mistakes. So change. My cousin's name is Valerie, so I'm going to add that. And my cousin's daughter's name is Noemi, not Noemi. Naomi. Elion is a name. Okay, here's another one. I don't know what this one is, but I'm going to have to go and look at it. So I'm going to kind of put that in the back of my mind and click ignore. And oh, that was Mount. So I should go back and change that from Mount Baldy. Now Baldy is correct, so I'm going to add that. Jameson's meaning more than one Jameson. I'll add that. Tagine is actually a dish in Morocco, so that is correct. I'll add that. eBay is actually spelled that way. Craigslist. Okay. I misspelled visited, so I'm going to change that. Switzerland, I misspelled. Shame on me. Change. And the spell check's complete. Now, I did skip one, so I'm going to go back and find it. And another thing that you need to do is just go in and zoom in so that you can actually see your page close up, because that's where you're going to see some real interesting mistakes. All right, so if I go back here, and I wrote up Mount Baldy, so I want to put the N right there. Mount Baldy. Okay, that's good. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this thing right here. You can see it. These things are called guides, and they're super, super important, and I would really like you to consider using guides, because as you will see, it'll show you how things are a little bit off. The way you get a guide is, now you can hide the guides. If you go up here and you choose hide guides, notice they go away. But if you want a guide, you go over here to the ruler, either on the top or on the side, and you drag. And notice, okay, so I put a guide right here. Now I'm going to put it right up against this one with a 7. I'm looking at that one. Okay. Now notice that the one below it, the 10, the picture 10, is a little bit off. So I can do one of two things. I can either click on it and move it over I'm using the arrow key now. Okay, now notice it jumped. It jumped hugely, okay? That's not a good thing, and that's because I have to go back up here to view. See where it says snap to grid? Snap to grid causes that problem, so I'm going to turn off snap to grid. And I'm going to use my arrow key, and notice now it's not jumping, and I can just align it so that it's exactly aligned with the other one. And notice this, well, the 10 box is off, so I'm going to move that. Okay, that seems to be, I don't know what that is. That's an extra 10, so I'm going to delete that. Don't know why that's there. Okay, let's see if I can get a hold of that green box underneath somehow. Notice it's sticking out. So you do your best to try to just click on it and if you can't, like this guide seems to be my way, so I'll move it over. But you might have to zoom in even closer. So I'm going to zoom a little bit more. Zoom up to 300%. Oh boy. Okay, so let's go back over here. There's my cousin. Okay, there's the number 10. So now I can get a hold of it. The closer you get, the more accurate you can get. Now I'm going to move it over and I'm going to move it down, and notice there's another one behind it, so I'm just going to delete that. I made a couple of copies. Okay, and then the number 10, I'm just going to move that over a little bit, again with the arrow key to center it. Okay, now clearly I have the number 7 here. This also needs to be moved. I'll move that down a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to the guide. I'm going to move this guide back. And as you can see, I might have moved things over just a little too much. So one of the things that you can do, especially if, well, it's a little difficult, but if you go, this is going to be hard. You can sometimes highlight things. Okay, if I hold down the Shift key, I can click on this. Well, actually, I want to click on the 10 box first, and then the number 10. I'm holding down the Shift key, and then the picture, and I can move them all at once now. Okay, so that saves a little bit. Now, if we move the guide over a little bit more, you'll notice that, my picture is the wrong size. So I'm going to click on the picture again, and I'm just going to grab this handle. These little circles are called handles, and I'm going to just move it over so that now these things are, these photos are perfectly aligned. And you can see the top one right here is okay, so I'm going to move this over a little bit more over to here. So these are perfectly aligned. Now, if I go over here to the numbers, check this out. I've got 3 numbers that you can see, and they're all in different places. So again, what I'd like you to do, and here, you can see that 8 is the only one. Okay, well, maybe I don't want it to be the 8. Maybe I'm going to move the 8 over. So maybe I'll make the 10 my sort of ultimate guide. So the 10 and the 9 are lined up okay, although I think I want the 9 number to be centered a little bit better. And I didn't really notice these things until I got in close. So again, get in close to what it is you've done. Here, I got to move this over. I'm going to move the 8 again. Get in close to what you're doing and use the guides to make everything line up, because it's important. It might not seem important and you think, oh, well, from a distance it looks fine. But you know what? When people get their yearbooks and when people start looking at them closely, they are going to notice these things. And it is going to make a difference. So do yourself a favor and do us a favor. As a yearbook staff, we want to be proud of our yearbook this year as we were proud of it last year. This last year's yearbook won first prize at the county fair, and we're very proud of that. But I think part of it is because of the quality and the time that people took to make sure that everything was just perfect. So that's pretty much what it is. Again, also have other people look at your yearbook pages and take their advice to heart, because I assume you're going to ask people to care about you and care about what they're seeing. And if there's something that they don't understand, or if there's something that could be written, they think it could be written a different way, try it out. All right? So best of luck. And the only other thing I want to point out is this. I'm going to save it. So don't forget to save. It's always important. Save. And by the way, if you have something that you did and you wanted to go back to it, you have your history right here. Okay, so all of the things that I ever did on this page are in my history. And you can actually drag it back to bring it back to the way it was. So every time you save, it goes into your history. Notice I've saved right here. Today is the 20th. There's my save, and it's in my history. But the thing I wanted to show you is this. When you're done and you go back out to the page ladder, do not click on complete, because if you click on complete, what you're going to do is you're going to lock yourself out of your page. The only person who can unlock it is me. So the complete is meant for people who, well, actually, I should be the only one clicking on complete, because when you click on complete, and it looks like it's going to throw, then it gives you this. And this means if I click on submit, it means that it will be submitted to Jostens, to their factory, so that they can print the yearbook page. And we're not printing any yearbook pages for a long time, so I'm going to click here on return. I don't think you can. I think you need my special permission. So do yourself a favor. When you're done, just leave your page the way it is. I will be turning off the pages at the end of the week, so take the time, make it look great. We're gonna look at these pages when we get to class. So do your best and have fun.